Namaste and welcome back to Temples, Books and Science. I am ArchanaRaghuram. In the last episode, we completed the description of the war between Lalita Devi and Bandasura. It began with the manifestation of the goddess from Chidagni Kunda and ended with the defeat of Bandasura and the destruction of his city. We now transition to a new phase in understanding the goddess, moving from her gross form to her subtle essence. As I mentioned before, the goddess with a name and a form is called the Stula form or the gross form of the goddess. The Stula form of any deity is their visual representation, a form which is accessible to our senses and is easily recognizable. Why is the Stula Swaroopam necessary? In our initial stages of spiritual practice, our minds are often scattered and restless. The Stula Swaroopam provides a tangible point of focus, a way to anchor our attention and cultivate concentration. Through this external focus, we begin to purify our minds and prepare ourselves for the more subtle aspects of spiritual awakening. It is important to note that the Stula form is not a figment of imagination. Consider a visual representation of our solar system. The position of the planets, their orbits, their relationships are not arbitrary. They reflect a profound cosmic order. Likewise, the goddess's Stula Swaroopam, her gross form, is a carefully constructed visual representation of her divine principles. This form allows us to engage our senses, focus our minds, and begin to grasp the vastness of her being. It is a meticulously crafted representation of the divine principle, a form rich in symbolism. As we have seen in the previous names, each of them was filled with deep philosophical messages and spiritual significance. Therefore, this carefully constructed Stula form serves as an effective tool for understanding the goddess. The next stage in understanding the goddess is the Sukshma form. The Sukshma form or the subtle form is the mantra form of the goddess, her subtle, essential form. Let me explain this with an analogy. Think about a human being. His gross form is his physical body. This form is recognizable easily, even in a simple image of a person. This is a cursory level of knowing a person. To truly know a person, to connect with their essence, you must delve deeper. You must understand their thoughts, their feelings, their personality, their values, their motivations. This is their subtle form, their inner landscape, which can only be known to those who invest time and effort in understanding them. It requires a deeper connection, a more profound level of awareness. This is analogous to the mantra form of the goddess, her Sukshma Swaroopam. Mantras are not merely sounds, they are the subtle form of the goddess, offering a deeper connection to her divine essence. Therefore, just as we move beyond a superficial understanding of a person to grasp their true nature, so too, from the Stula Swaroopam, we can gradually evolve to the Sukshma Swaroopam, the subtle form. This transition involves moving from external visualization to internal contemplation, from physical representation to mental abstraction, ultimately leading us to perceive the goddess not merely as a physical form, but as the underlying consciousness that pervades all existence. Ultimately, this leads us to the supreme form, the Paraswaroopam, where the distinction between the worshipper and the worshipped dissolves into the oneness of Brahman. With this understanding, let's dive into the next three names, which describe the goddess as the personification of the Panchadashi mantra, the most important mantra of Sri Vidya. Srimad Vagbhava Kuta swaroopa mukha pankaja Kantatha paryantha Madhya Kuta swaroopini Shakti Kuta tapanna katyado bhagadarini. The 85th name, Srimad Vagbhava Kuta swaroopa mukha pankaja, means she whose lotus face is the very form of the auspicious Vagbhava Kuta, the first part of the Panchadashi mantra. The 86th name, Kantatha paryantha Madhya Kuta swaroopini, means she whose form is Madhya Kuta, extending from the throat down to the hips. Madhya Kuta is the middle part of the Panchadashi mantra. And the 87th name, Shakti Koodaiga Tapanna Katyado Bhagadharini, means she whose form below the hips is the very personification of the Shakti Kuta, which is the last part of the Panchadashi mantra. These names introduce us to the concept of the goddess's form as being intrinsically linked to her mantra. To truly grasp the significance of these names, we must understand the Panchadashi mantra and its 3 kutas or sections. The Panchadashi mantra, also called the Panchadashakshari mantra, is the most important and revered mantra in the Sri Vidya tradition. It's a powerful and complex mantra, a potent sound formula for invoking the Divine Mother, Lalita Tripura Sundari. The name Panchadashakshari itself refers to its structure. It is a 15-syllable mantra. These 15 syllables are divided into 3 distinct sections, each known as a kuta, meaning a group or collection. These 3 kutas represent the 3 sections of the goddess's subtle body, her face and head, her torso, and her lower body. Let's examine the first kuta, which is called the Vagbhava Kuta, Srimad Vagbhava Kuta swaroopa mukha pankaja. The first 5 syllables of the Panchadashi mantra constitute the Vagbhava Kuta. This section represents the goddess's face and head, and it signifies the power of speech, knowledge, and creation. It is considered the source of all manifestation, the divine sound, the Shabda that brings forth the universe. The Vagbhava Kuta, as the origin of speech, is intrinsically linked to the power of creation. In our philosophy, sound or nada is considered the primordial element from which the universe manifested. That's why it's called Nada Brahma. By identifying the goddess's face with this kuta, the name connects her directly to the act of cosmic emanation through sound and vibration. Moreover, the Vagbhava Kuta, associated with the bestowal of knowledge and wisdom, also underscores the goddess's role as the ultimate source of divine wisdom, the guiding intelligence behind all of creation. When we say the goddess's face is the Vagbhava Kuta, we are not merely describing a physical feature. We are acknowledging that her very countenance is the source of all knowledge, all speech, and all manifestation. It is the origin of the divine word, the creative energy that brings forth the cosmos. Now we come to the Madhya Kuta, Kantatha paryantha Madhya Kuta swaroopini. The next 6 syllables of the Panchadashi mantra form the Madhya Kuta, also known as the Kamaraja Kuta. This central section of the Panchadashi mantra represents the goddess's torso, her heart, and her vital energy. It's comprised of 6 bija mantras, powerful seed syllables that hold immense creative potential. The term Kama in this context extends beyond earthly desires. It refers to the divine desire, the Ichcha Shakti, the very will and intent that propels the universe into existence. Symbolically, this kuta is associated with Mahavishnu, the preserver, who embodies the principle of sustenance. Therefore, the Madhya Kuta signifies the energy that maintains and preserves the creation, the life force that animates all beings, and the divine love and compassion that binds and connects the cosmos. Finally, we come to the Shakti Kuta. Shakti Koodaiga Tapanna Katyadho Bhagadharini. The Shakti Kuta is the third and the final part of the 15-syllable Panchadashi mantra. It consists of 4 sacred syllables or bijas. This section represents the goddess's lower body, her hips, legs, and feet. It signifies the power, action, and the energy of dissolution. It is the force that brings about transformation and the eventual return to the source. It is the dynamic energy that propels the universe towards its ultimate goal. It is named Shakti Kuta because it embodies the power or Shakti that energizes the other two Kutas, the Vagbhava and Madhya Kutas, enabling them to function. It is also referred to as Kriya Shakti, the power of action. Also, the portion of the body below the hips is the seat of Mooladhara Chakra, the root chakra where the Kundalini Shakti is said to reside. The Shakti Kuta's association with this region underscores its fundamental role in the awakening and ascent of this spiritual energy. Taken together, these three kutas form the complete subtle body of the goddess, her mantra swaroopam. They represent the dynamic interplay of creation, preservation, and dissolution that characterizes the universe. These three kutas also represent the trivarga, dharma, righteous conduct, artha-kama, wealth and desire, and moksha, liberation, which are said to reside within Devi's mantra shariram, her mantra form. Lalita Tripurasundari embodies all forms of energy, and that is why she is known as Adi Shakti, the primordial power. These names underscore the profound principle that the goddess's physical form is inseparable from and an expression of her mantric essence. Just as the first three names of the Lalita Sahasranamam, Shri Mata, Shri Maharagni, and Srimad Simhasaneshwari, indicated that she is the creator, sustainer, and destroyer of the universe, Shrishti Sthiti Laya Karani. Her mantra Swaroopam too begins by implying this truth. This intricate relationship between mantra and form underscores the unified nature of the divine, where sound, energy, and form are ultimately inseparable. This understanding is crucial for our spiritual practice. By meditating on the Panchadashi mantra and its three kutas, we align ourselves with the subtle energies of the goddess, purifying our mind and opening ourselves to the experience of her divine presence. Through this process, we move beyond the limitation of the gross form and begin to perceive the goddess as the underlying consciousness that pervades all existence. Here, I want to make another important point. The Panchadashi mantra, the source of these three kutas, is not a mantra that is freely given. In the Sri Vidya tradition, it is a sacred and highly guarded mantra. A guru, after careful evaluation, determines whether a disciple is ready to receive it. Only then, and under strict guidance, will the mantra be taught. This is because this mantra is a very potent power. It requires a great deal of accompanying discipline to be able to receive and practice it effectively. If mantras are not chanted properly and without the necessary discipline, they can potentially lead to harm. Therefore, traditionally, mantras are not taught to everyone without proper guidance and preparation. However, here is the beauty of Lalita Sahasranamam. It does something amazing. It has incorporated the syllables of the Panchadashi mantra in the names of the goddess in a systematic manner. If you recall the names describing the goddess's form, I mentioned this. The names that describe her face contain the Vagbhava Kuta, those that describe her torso contain the Madhya Kuta, and those that describe the lower part of her body contain the Shakti Kuta. By chanting these names, we essentially gain the benefit of chanting the Panchadashi mantra, but in a safe and accessible way. So, when we chant the Lalita Sahasranamam, we tap into the power of the Sri Vidya mantra without the potential risks. That is why Lalita Sahasranamam is so powerful. It makes the power of the most potent mantra accessible to all of us. Now we move to the 88th name, Moola Mantratmika, which translates to she whose form is the Moola Mantra, or she whose essence is the Moola Mantra. In Sri Vidya tradition, there are numerous mantras called Anga Mantras, which means limb mantras that serve various purposes. But all these mantras originate from a single fundamental source, which is the Moola Mantra or the root mantra. The Moola mantra of Sri Vidya is the Panchadashi mantra, which we explored in the last three names. The Panchadashi mantra with its three kutas is considered the very swaroopam, the essential form of the goddess. It is the source from which all other mantras in Sri Vidya emerge. It is also called the Moola mantra because all the four Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha, are said to arise from it. But the term Moola mantra also has a larger significance in the context of the Vedas. In the Vedas, Om is considered the Moola mantra, the primal sound vibration from which all other sounds and all of creation emanate. So, Moola Mantratmika also implies that the goddess is Pranava Swaroopam, the embodiment of Om. More importantly, in the context of Sri Vidya, there is an even more nuanced understanding. Within the Panchadashi mantra, there is a specific syllable, a bijam, called the Kamakala bijam. This bijakshara is considered the root syllable, the source from which the entire Panchadashi mantra itself emerges. It is the subtlest essence of the goddess, the source of her energy and power. Therefore, Moola Mantratmika also means she who is the soul of the Moola Mantra, which is the Kamakala Bijam. As Kamakala, she is the root of Panchadashi, the source from which the entire mantra emanates. We learned that the Panchadashi mantra is the source of all mantras in Sri Vidya, and through this name we discover that the Kamakala Bijam is the source of Panchadashi. So the hymn takes us deeper and deeper into her subtle form. You know, there is a beautiful tradition in South Indian weddings that perfectly illustrates this idea of gradual revelation. During the ceremony, the priest takes the couple outdoors and shows them the night sky. The goal is to spot the stars Arundhati and Vashishta, considered the ideal couple, so inseparable that they became stars. But Arundhati is a very faint star, not easy to see at first glance. So the priest doesn't point directly at it. Instead, he first points to the Saptarishi, the Big Dipper, a very bright and prominent constellation. Then he guides their gaze to the brighter star of the constellation, Vashishta, which is relatively easier to spot. Finally, only after these steps, when their eyes have adjusted and they have clear reference point, does he ask them to look for Arundhati. This method of instruction, this gradual unveiling, is called Arundhati Nyaya in Sanskrit. It's a way of leading someone from the gross, easily perceived, to the subtle and difficult to grasp, step by step. And if you think about it, the Lalita Sahasranamam follows a similar progression. It starts with the gross form of the goddess, the Sthula Swaroopam, the form we can easily visualize and relate to. Then it gradually moves to the mantra form, the Sukshma Swaroopam, which is more subtle and requires deeper understanding. And ultimately, it aims to lead us to the Paraswarupam, the supreme formless reality. This name, Moola Mantratmika, thus unveils the profound truth that the goddess is not only the source of all mantras, but also their very essence, their ultimate origin and power. She is the primordial sound vibration, the divine energy that gives rise to all creation. Now we come to the 89th name. The 89th name in the Lalita Sahasranamam, Moola Kuta Traya Kalebara, means she whose body is the three Moola Kutas. Moola Kuta Traya refers to the three primary kutas that constitute the Panchadashi mantra. This name, Moola Kuta Traya Kalebara, tells us that the Divine Mother's entire being, her very body, is essentially the Panchadashi mantra, specifically its three kutas. This is a fundamental idea in Tantric philosophy which sees sound, the mantra, and the form, the deity, as deeply intertwined, inseparable aspects of the same divine reality. In this perspective, the mantra is not merely an external tool used to invoke the goddess from a distant realm, but rather represents her very essence, her divine energy, and her manifested form. The mantra is the goddess's sonic body, and she is the power and consciousness animating the mantra. So, by truly understanding, reciting, and meditating on the Panchadashi mantra, the devotee connects directly with the goddess's fundamental form, her inherent energy, and her ultimate consciousness. The mantra acts like a vibrational key, unlocking the doors to perceive and experience the divine presence within us and throughout the cosmos. The power of the mantra lies in its ability to resonate with the divine consciousness and to manifest the goddess's presence in the heart of the devotee. While the goddess is ultimately beyond form and attributes, the mantra provides a specific and accessible form for connecting with her through sincere recitation, focused meditation, and deep contemplation. Having explored the goddess's mantra swaroopam in these names, we now transition to a new phase of our journey, starting from the 90th name. We will delve into yogam, specifically Kundalini Yoga, which provides the practical method for awakening and directing the very energies represented by these mantras. Kundalini Yoga is the path through which we realize the full potential of the mantra's power, ultimately leading us to the union with the Divine Mother. Prepare to delve into a new dimension of spiritual practice as we explore the path of Kundalini Yoga and its powerful role in attaining union with the Divine Mother, Lalita Tripura Sundari. I hope this exploration of Lalita Sahasranamam has been helpful so far. I'm eager to learn how this series is affecting you. Please share your thoughts and reflections in the comments section. What are your key takeaways? How has it helped you connect with the Divine Mother? Your feedback is important and I look forward to reading your comments. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and click on the notification bell. May the grace of the goddess Lalita Tripura Sundari guide you on this journey of self-discovery and transformation. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Namaste.